Hello everyone. Through this video, I shall be talking to you about the common problem of catheter-induced urethral stricture, and this is part 2 of my talk. And in this video, I am focusing on once the catheter-induced stricture has developed, how will it manifest? How will it manifest clinically, and how will it manifest radiologically on retrograde urethrogram? The catheter-induced strictures can present very early in the natural history, and I call them early onset catheter-induced urethral strictures. These are the ones which present within 4 weeks of catheter insertion, 1 month. Why they present early? Either at the time of introduction of catheter, the infection got inserted in the urethral lumen, and this infection will involve the pendulous part of urethra most, because it is here where the quantum of bacterial load will be very heavy. So you get infection-induced strictures more often in the pendulous urethra. The second situation is the allergy to the urethral wall by the catheter material. And when this happens, depending upon the quantum of allergy, it can be a mild allergy, it can be extreme degree of allergy, and you get a reaction in the entire urethra. And this is an example of pan-urethral disease. So those strictures which present early within the 4 weeks of catheter insertion, they either involve a pendulous urethra or involve the entire urethra as a result of infection and allergy. The second group of strictures, which are again catheter-induced strictures, they have late onset. And when I say late, I mean usually manifesting about more than a year later from the time of catheter insertion. It can be sometimes as many as 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. And these strictures are the ones which evolve as a result of pressure ischemia of the urethral wall. There's no infection here, there's no allergy here. Dominant reason was the lateral pressure of the catheter shaft on the urethral wall. And the commonest site for pressure-induced stricture is the penobulbar area. Or else the patients had trauma during catheter insertion, and the trauma healed by some fibrosis. Initially it's a healing, and gradually as the quantum of fibrosis increases, stricture manifests. Often these strictures manifest few years later, and the commonest site again is bulbomembranous junction. So what I'm trying to give you here, I'm trying to give an insight that the duration of the presentation of the patient from catheter insertion, if it is early, usually it is infection or allergy induced. If patients present late, it is usually due to ischemia or the trauma. There are strictures which happen just proximal to fossa navicularis. Now this is the location where you can have any etiology responsible: the infection, the trauma, the allergy, the compression. So all 4 factors can operate at this junction. This junction therefore is very, very vulnerable. The meatus also is a very vulnerable site for catheter-induced strictures. So if you ask me, how do I classify catheter-induced strictures? I tend to classify them on the basis of the age of the stricture. Age means duration of stricture disease. There are patients who have stricture manifesting within 4 weeks of catheterization. These are nascent strictures, new formed strictures. Then there are patients who come with strictures who have been there for more than 3 months. They are established strictures. And there are patients who come with various complications of strictures. They usually come after few years of having had a stricture disease as a result of catheter. So on the basis of the age of the stricture, Less than a month, nascent stricture. Having age of few months, 3 to 6 months, established stricture. Having an age of few years, often complicated strictures. Why do I do this classification is that the age tends to connote the quantum of fibrosis. If you have nascent stricture, you can just dilate the stricture on the guide wire and ask the patient to remain on self-dilatation and it will be fine. If you are treating established stricture, you will need either an endoscopic procedure or a reconstructive surgery to manage this stricture. Or if you are handling a complicated stricture, you will require a pulmonary diversion for a while by suprapubic catheterization, and subsequently, once that complication settles, either a trauma or a abscess or a phlegmon or whatever, then you do by reconstruction. So the management of the patient will depend upon the duration of disease. The recent onset strictures, or the nascent strictures as I like to call them, pathologically they have the mucosal edema due to urethritis. So entire urethra gets swollen up, and the swelling of the mucosa will compromise the urethral lumen. So technically it's a narrowing of the lumen, but not by fibrotic process. This patient will come to you with a history of rapid decline in caliber of urinary stream along with marked dysuria and burning. He will say, I was fine, doctor, prior to this catheterization, and this catheter was removed, and after 10 days of catheter removal, after a week of catheter removal, after whatever, few weeks of catheter removal, my stream has become very thin and a lot of pain and burning. This classical presentation of catheter-induced nascent strictures. Here is an example of a 66-year diabetic male who underwent hernia surgery. And after the catheter removal, he developed marked dysuria. And his urethrogram showed this kind of reaction in the proximal bulb. This looks like stricture, but this also looks like urethritis. And this patient was advised dilatation over the guide wire, the coaxial dilatation followed by self-dilatation. And this is a picture after some time. He became all right. The other patient who was a 56-year-old diabetic male, he underwent coronary artery bypass surgery and he developed marked thinning of stream after 2 weeks of catheter removal. So when a urethrogram was done in this patient, it showed a pendulous urethral stricture. And this looks like catheter-induced reaction and urethritis or some stricturing. He was also advised self-dilatation after coaxial dilatation. And this is the urethrogram picture after 3 months of self-dilatation by the patient. Initially, we did under image intensifier over the guide wire a dilatation. Later on, patient did himself at home. And this is another urethrogram after 8 months of self-dilatation. You will notice disappearance of the reaction, disappearance of inflammation from the urethral wall. And this is another urethrogram of the same patient after 1 year of the self-dilatation. You'll notice clean, nice urethra without any stricture. So that much about nascent strictures, which will present within 4 to 5 weeks of catheterization, and they can be managed very easily by coaxial dilatation followed by self-dilatation. The second group of patients is the ones who have established stricture disease. Here, the mucosal edema is disappearing and spongiofibrosis is getting superadded as a pathological process. So it's a genuine stricture disease. These patients complain to you gradual decline in the caliber of their urinary stream, and they can also have episodes of in between urinary tract infection. Some people even have another attempt of failed catheterization, and then they say, I got stricture because of previous catheterization. These strictures, the established strictures, if you look at their radiographic pictures, you will see them either as short length strictures. Here is the urethrogram showing you a pendulous stricture which is about 2 to 3 centimeters in size. Here is a case of a stricture at penobulbar junction by green arrow, which is about 1 centimeter. And here the urethrogram showing you a third location stricture, which is proximal bulb or mid bulb. And then this is a short segment stricture. All these are catheter-induced strictures. This patient also has a proximal bulbar stricture, half the bulb is involved. Again, another example of probably the balloon-induced trauma. So at one end, you can have short to medium length size strictures in urethra at any site, or at the other hand, you can have long segment strictures by the catheter. Here is an example of the urethritis induced by catheter. You see them by black arrow. You will also notice lots of Leiter glands and all those structures visible. In this another patient, retrograde ureterogram, you notice this is the area, long area of the proximal pendulous urethra and distal bulb, long penobulbar stricture resulting from urethral catheter. Patient went into retention and required a suprapubic diversion. This ureterogram showing you a long area of the involvement of urethra. Another patient where there is a long stricture in the penobulbar location and a small stricture in a mid-bulbar location. You can also have the third variety of catheter-induced stricture, which is a pan-urethral stricture disease, wherein whole length of urethra gets involved. You can have 2-3 patterns of pan-urethral stricture disease. You can have multiple strictures interrupted by a normal segment of urethra, as you can see in this retrograde ureterogram. Or you can have a picture like this where one part of urethra is more involved, the other part of urethra is less involved, and you have multiple strictures interrupted by a segment of apparently normal looking urethra. You can also have a pattern where entire urethra is involved uniformly. The caliber is dropped uniformly all across. And you can have such patients who have narrowed urethra uniformly all along. This is pipe stem urethra as a result of the catheter. And then, if the patient is not careful about his disease, he doesn't come to you for treatment, or he doesn't notice it, he will often develop some other complication. What kind of complications the strictures can have? This is either they can develop what is called infective complications, and they are infection around the urethra, like periurethral phlegmon, periurethral abscess, or fistula, or they can be epididymoorchitis because of back pressure and backflow of urine through the vasal lumen. They get epididymoorchitis, prostatitis, seminal vasculitis. So on one side, you will see infective complication, and on the other side, you will see hydrostatic complications, which happen because of high pressure voiding. Patient can develop acute and chronic urinary retention, or patient can develop bilateral vesicoureteral reflux or bilateral hydroureteral nephrosis with or without renal failure. So in general, the complications of strictures are categorized into 2 subgroups, infective and hydrostatic. And you can see them on retrograde ureterogram imaging. And here's the ureterogram which has been there in my earlier videos also. And you will see stricture at penobulbar junction. And by the red outline, you notice a large cavity filled with contrast. This is an example of periurethral abscess. Another retrograde ureterogram showing you a uretroperineal fistula. And another retrograde ureterogram showing you periurethral abscess with impending fistula. Complete fistula not formed, but because SPC was done, so it probably either healed or aborted. So friends, I hope I've been able to explain to you what are the manifestations, the clinical as well as radiographic manifestations of catheter-induced urethral stricture disease. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions and comments regarding this presentation, you can write it on my email, drdalila24@gmail.com. Thank you.